Hari, thanks very much for joining us on day two, and thanks for inviting us up to your VIP box. We've got an absolutely fantastic view here across offshore Europe, which is in its 50th year now. So I think my first question needs to be, how do you see it evolving after 50 years?
Yeah, offshore Europe, it's a reminder that the North Sea is a fantastic resource for energy. And the 50-year anniversary, it's really important we don't spend too much time looking back, but looking forward, because the next 50 years, yes, it'll be about oil and gas, but it'll be about less and cleaner oil and gas. And most importantly of all, it'll be about offshore wind and a 10 times increase in offshore wind.
There's some pretty big challenges and pretty big objectives that have been set on the offshore wind side of things. So how are DNV helping their customers to achieve those objectives?
Yeah, at the end of last year, DNV published its UK Energy Transition Outlook report, and it showed how the transition is underway and will get somewhere by 2050, but not to net zero. But the lion's share of that energy transition is electrification, in which the major source of that electricity is offshore wind. But right now, offshore wind has some real headwinds, unfortunately.
So give me some numbers around that.
So today we have 10 gigawatts installed offshore, and by 2050 we're saying in excess of 100 gigawatts offshore. So that's the tenfold increase. But the difficulty is the economic models are slowing things down, not speeding them up. So there's a perfect storm in offshore wind of higher license fees, lower electricity prices, permitting taking too long, reliability issues. So we're trying to help developers, investors, turbine manufacturers, all the SMEs in the supply chain. We're trying to de-bottleneck all the obstacles they're facing so that we can really unlock the full potential of offshore wind.
And on the cost side, we saw what Vattenfall did a couple of weeks ago. Is there anything that the Scottish Government or the UK Government could be doing to mitigate those circumstances?
Without question, offshore wind remains one of the lowest costs of electricity. The only reason the developers and the operators are struggling is the license fees have gone up and the prices they're getting for the electricity are going down. They're slightly a victim of their own success, because we've been saying it's the lowest form of cost of electricity for quite some time. So we've set up an expectation of prices dropping continuously, and the governments have realised they can raise more money from the licence fees, similar to oil and gas. So that's the perfect storm: higher licence fees, lower prices, and then supply chain issues. So governments can do something straight away. They can look at the licence fees that they're paying, they're requesting, and they can start to have higher prices for their power purchase agreements.
Perfect. Well, thank you very much for your insight and for talking to us today, and we hope you have a successful week. Much appreciated, Hari.
Fantastic. Thank you, Dan.